finally mock draft season, folks. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking some NFL. And here to break down Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 1.0 for the 2023 NFL draft and take a look at the mock draft he has for the top 10. So it's going to be very interesting to see here. Certainly won't be the last mock draft video I do, and I'll obviously do my very own mock drafts as well. But I wanted to break down a couple others before I do that. Now, Daniel Jeremiah, he works for the NFL Network. He's a draft analyst, one of the most plugged-in guys in the NFL. So this is a guy, a source that I like looking at because he knows what he's talking about. And obviously, a lot of this is probably coming from sources, his own big board, things like that. So let's go ahead and put the big board up there for you guys to take a look at here and break it down. So the most interesting thing that you see right away is the fact that he has got Jalen Carter going number 1 to the Chicago Bears. Now, this is under the scenario that I feel like is very unlikely, which is the Bears keeping the number 1 overall pick, not doing anything with it, and just taking Jalen Carter at number 1. I don't got any problems with the draft selection of Jalen Carter, but I have a problem with the Bears not making a trade here. I fully believe and expect the Chicago Bears to trade out of that number 1 overall spot just because of the insane amount of assets they can potentially get. And they have a lot of holes to fill on this team. One player, no matter how good he is, isn't going to solve everything. And so the Bears need quantity of players. They need quality as well, but they need a lot of players. And so trading out makes the most sense. But I get it for Daniel Jeremiah, like, for the purposes of his mock draft, he didn't make any trades here. He's just going straight by the draft order. Cool, got it. But I believe the Bears will trade that number 1 overall pick. All right, number 2, Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama, going to the Texans. Now, I believe you could flip-flop this, like if the Bears trade down with the Texans, and the Texans could take Bryce Young number 1, Bears take Jalen Carter number 2, and everybody's happy, and the Bears get the draft capital as well, right? The Texans are going to have to give up something to get something. All right, so number 3, Will Anderson, defensive end edge rusher from Alabama. This is kind of the other guy the Bears are going and looking at, right? Jalen Carter versus Will Anderson. The fan base is torn apart between these two guys. I don't think you can go wrong here. He's got him going to the Cardinals, who could certainly use more defensive help. Their defense isn't very good. So that does make sense to me. And again, I don't have any problems with either Carter or Anderson landing on the Bears. If you make me pick, I would probably lean towards Jalen Carter, but it is close. All right, number 4, Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. He has him going to the Colts. This is very interesting because a lot of people have had C.J. Stroud as the number 2 guy behind Bryce Young, the kind of consensus number 1 overall quarterback. And so it's interesting to see Will Levis going to the Colts at number 4. Not surprising the Colts take a quarterback because I absolutely think they will. I think they'll trade up with the Bears for the number 1 overall pick and take Bryce Young. But not surprising to see them taking a quarterback. A little surprising that they've got Will Levis there. Now, if you guys remember, I made a video talking about the Colts preparing a monster package for the Bears. Well, the source in that video was David Kaplan, who basically said that the Colts are intrigued by Will Levis. So he is the guy that they're looking at. He's the guy that they're looking at. So this kind of lines up with what Cap was saying. Just letting you guys know. All right. But the Colts will almost certainly take a quarterback. You can book that. All right. 5, 6, Tyree Wilson, Devon Witherspoon. Makes sense for the teams there. Totally get that. Number 7, I want to talk about Peter Skornowski from Northwestern, the offensive lineman. I think he's unbelievable. I want the Bears to get him. So if the Bears were to drop down, right, to the bottom of the top 10 and trade with the team, like let's say the Panthers or the Falcons or the Raiders, like I want to get Peter Skornowski. Like I know we need defensive help, but we need offensive line help as well. So like if you trade down, you need to go ahead and get him. I think he's an absolute beast. And that would be a fantastic fit, a guy to protect Justin Fields for years to come. So that is an option, right? People always freak out if we trade out of the top 5 that the bottom of the top 10 doesn't have a lot of talent, but it does. It really does here. So would love that. 8, 9, and 10, Lucas Van Ness, edge from Iowa. Then you got C.J. Stroud, 9, going to the Panthers. And then Miles Murphy, number 10, edge for Clemson. So 9, CJ Stroud going to the Panthers. Again, maybe you can flip-flop him and Will Levis. So we'll see. But I do think those are the top 3 quarterbacks. Bryce Young definitely number 1, and then you can interchange the other 2. So those are the things that kind of stand out to me here is the Bears have so many options. So many options, right? You can trade down with the Texans, still get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. You can trade down with the Colts, still get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. You can trade down with, let's say, the Raiders or the Falcons or the Panthers, and you can end up with Peter Skoronski, an offensive lineman that you need. And there's still edge rushers here. There's still defensive players here you can get. So there are so many options for the Bears. But for the most part, I think this mock draft 1.0, for the first mock draft, this is pretty solid. Again, no trades, but trades will be made. But for a no-trade mock draft, I don't mind it. So I think it's a pretty solid job by Daniel Jeremiah. We'll see how it ends up with come around draft time. I'm sure things will change, but just wanted to give you guys my quick thoughts off the top here, taking a look at this mock draft. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.